Michael St. John, and we are set to go with another day of USWA Championship Wrestling.
You got that right, Dave, and boy, do we have some action today on television. Ben Jordan will open up in our first match. Plus, we'll have tag team action. The brand new USWA World Tag Team Champions will be in action. Golden Boy Jeff Jarrett and the Tennessee stud Robert Fuller, and they will be going up against Gary Scott and Jack Diamond. Also, a brand new wrestler coming on the scene in the USWA. Of course, the USWA with the open door policy. Hurricane Walker with quite a reputation coming into the area.
Yes, indeed. Big reputation coming in. We hope to get a few words from him a little bit later on.
And in our main event, Dr. Tom Prichard will team up with the Dirty White Boy. They'll go up against Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert and Brian Christopher.
All right. A lot of action coming up. Much more, too. Interesting meeting which took place this week. More about that as we go along. We better get going. We'll be back here in a moment. In the ring right now, Rob Golden, a new face here on USWA Championship Wrestling. And coming in, here's Ben Jordan. Got a one-fall, 10-minute time limit match set to go here. Paul Nevers will be the referee. Ben Jordan taking the warm-up jacket off, and one fall, just about ready to go. Here we are.
Dave, I tell you, Ben Jordan has gotten better and better in that ring, and he got quite an ovation when he stepped through the curtain here today on television. Blocks it up, side headlock on Rob Golden. Golden backs him into the ropes, going to throw him the other way. Nice shoulder block by Ben Jordan. Ben up and over. Golden coming back to his feet. I don't think he's aware of where Ben is. There's Ben. Snaps him down with a hip toss, and down goes Rob Golden.
Lesson number one for Rob Golden. Always know where your opponent is.
Youngster in the wrestling business, getting his our first look at him here on television. Ben Jordan rolled up. 1, 2. Oh, Golden almost had him down. Couldn't hold him, though. A little bit later on the program, Dave, Hurricane Walker, I'm looking forward to seeing this young man. I've heard a lot about him.
Boy, I have too. He comes to the USWA territory with a tremendous reputation. We're looking forward to seeing him in action here a bit later on today.
Ben Jordan still maintaining that side headlock. Golden tries to roll him up again. Also, the brand new USWA World Tag Team Champions, Jeff Jarrett and Robert Fuller, and what a great match they had to take those belts.
Absolutely. It was an unusual pairing from the beginning, but they got together as a team, and the agreement was if they lost a match, then the team existed no more. And here they are, world champions.
Meantime, back in the ring, Ben Jordan again, keeping with that side headlock on Rob Golden. This match, one fall with a 15-minute time limit here on USWA Wrestling.
Ben Jordan very strong on wrestling fundamentals. That's good to see in a youngster like Ben.
See a lot of superstar Bill Dundee in Ben Jordan.
Absolutely, absolutely. He's given him a lot of advice.
Very instrumental. Ben will give Dundee a lot of credit. Very instrumental in developing his career thus far. Look at that back body drop. Beautiful move by Jordan. Golden is down. Ben moving in. Sends him to the ropes again. Coming off Golden. Got him with that lariat, clotheslined him down, rolls him over, drops on him one. Count of one was all he got. Pace of the match picking up very quickly. Jordan going to work now. Got him with the drop kick right under the chin.
Yeah, he got a good one on him that time. Golden made a good move a moment ago as Ben Jordan was coming over for the cover. He turned so he couldn't get his shoulders down. There's a count of two. He got it!
Golden may be out, catching that drop kick right on the chin. Boy, that's like a right hand from Mike Tyson. Ben Jordan getting the victory.
Yeah, I think he did knock him out. He didn't even struggle much. Referee Paul Nevers is there checking. Ben Jordan gets the win, and a good one here. The time on it, 2 minutes, 11 seconds of action. We've got referee Paul Nevers is going to attend to him. Calling for Eddie Marlin to get some help. They're going to cart him out of here, I think. I believe he's okay. I think he just was knocked out by the force of that drop kick. Ben hit him really with a good one.
I think he's coming around now.
Yeah. Well, while they attend to him, let's take a look at some videotape here. It was a match which occurred in Memphis a few days ago, in which Steve Keirn was going against Dr. Tom Prichard in an anything goes. Loser must leave the USWA for 30 days. Those were the stipulations on the match. Take a look at the action. Steve Keirn, Tom Prichard.
Yanks him into, slams his head right into Prichard, takes Prichard down, DDT, Keirn with a plank cover, no referee to count. Keirn finally gets Prichard rolling over for a pain cover. Embry pulls Paul Neighbors, our referee, over. Still unconscious. 1, 2, 3. That's gotta be it. Steve Keirn has to leave the USWA for 30 days.
Well, Tom Prichard can claim victory all he wants to, as he was walking around the ring, hands in the air, but it was Eric Embry that came in and did that.
Unfortunate state of situations in that the referee had been knocked out. Had the referee been conscious, of course, he'd have seen it, but wow. I mean, it's one of those things, and wherever there's Tom Prichard, I've learned to watch. Eric Embry is close behind and vice versa. They watch each other's back.
Absolutely, and of course, Steve Keirn, not one to give up easily. Steve had a few words about that situation. Here's Steve right here.
You know, May 13th, 1991 is going to go down in wrestling history. It's going to go down in my wrestling history because that was the night that I lost a match to Tom Prichard, whereas I had to leave the USWA for 30 days. Tonight, I've got 30 days of a vacation away from this area to get ready for you, Tom Prichard. You know, this is a pretty bad area. A lot of things happen. Seems like a lot of guys jump in from behind. A lot of chairs are used. A lot of boards are used. A lot of chains are used. In that 30-day period, Tom Prichard, before I can come back, I'm going to be sitting on the beach. I'm going to be going to the gym. I'm going to be taking it easy, but I'm going to be getting in shape. The whole time your body's taking that punishment, just think of one thing way in the back of your mind. Keirn's coming. Keirn's coming, because I'm coming back.
Eddie Marlin here with us right now. Ed, welcome.
Thank you, Dave. I won't take but a minute of your time, but you know, last week Bill Dundee was out here and he mentioned Jamie and he had a discussion. Jamie was scheduled to be here today, but he called me and he said he just felt like that he needed at least one more week before he could come before the cameras and tell all the people the situation with he and his dad. So I granted him that week, so he
Okay,
needs to get his head straightened out. He said.
I suppose another week won't hurt. Maybe if everything, I hope they've got everything worked out.
I do too. I hope they get, because father and son, you know.
That's true. Speaking of Bill, I know you had to call a meeting this past week. There was a controversial ending to a match in which Eric Embry was going against Bill Dundee. The actual winner of the match was Eric Embry, and yet Bill Dundee had his hand raised. So with the 30-day leaving the USWA rule, that left some kind of confusion. At first, you just wanted to schedule another match right there, right?
Well, if you roll the tape there, it'll explain everything. Sort of getting by some red tape, I'd say, if you show the tape.
Let's take a look at the meeting which occurred just a few days ago.
Eddie Marlin, why are we here? Why did you give me a bed and him and me sit and look at him? Why are we here? I won the match.
Bill, let me explain to you, let me explain to Eric, and also the referee and these people standing here. The match had a disputed decision. Now, it was an important match. Whoever lost the match would have to leave the USWA for 30 days.
Wait. How do you get disputed decision? I pinned his shoulders 1, 2, 3.
That's right, Eric. But the referee counted his shoulders out. The referee was knocked down. He raised his hand up. Bill Dundee says he had you.
That makes me the winner, doesn't it?
No, wait a minute, Bill. Now, let me explain to you. If it stands as it is right now with his appeal to the USWA, it'll take 3 to 4 weeks for a final decision. All right? You say that you had him pinned. They interfered.
I did.
All right.
And
Well,
this
wait just-
light was gonna hit me on the head. You know.
No, I pinned your shoulders,
just a
Dundee.
minute.
No,
Wait
sir.
Wait just a minute. He pinned your shoulders. Bill, I seen the
Yes.
match. Wait a minute now. I'm trying to get it straightened out where neither you nor Eric will have to leave the USWA on a disputed decision. If it was clear cut 1, 2, 3, I don't care which.
What was it? It was clear cut. I pinned it 1, 2,
Well, wait
3.
just a
Your
minute.
goofy Tennessee referee
Now, wait
is
a
the
minute.
one that made a mistake. He come over and raised the wrong
Let me
hand.
tell you
Just show the tape of the match, and it's clear, cut, and dry.
Well,
I win, you leave.
No,
Dundee.
we don't have a tape of the match.
Why? Whoa. Why isn't there a tape of the match? You got tapes of everything, man. That's all you got to do. Your Tennessee referee was sleeping in the ring. Now take your Tennessee cameraman, get him to show the tape. It'll show me pitted. Your shoulders to the mat. 1, 2, 3.
Then I'd like to show me standing in the middle with my hand raised, so that makes me the
raising
winner.
his
The
hand.
tape will show him being a goof.
We have no tape, Eric.
Where's the
That's the
tape?
reason. I don't know where
Thank God, no
Then-
tape.
Just wait just a minute. That is the reason we're trying to have this meeting. Do you want to leave the USWA on?
I ain't leaving. I didn't
All right,
lose.
do you
No,
want?
I don't. I'm not leaving. I'm not. I won.
I don't want.
You'd love to take the match winning like that, but the referee raised your hand after you had your shoulders pinned.
Well, it was her that knocked me out.
Wait just a minute.
You're turning me over, and you helped too, Tokyo Yamamoto, and you
Wait
know
a minute, Bill. You did pin his shoulders. 1, 2, 3.
So he leaves.
No.
No, that's right. No,
The
no,
referee
because
was-
this is Tennessee.
The
He
referee
don't
was
leave.
knocked down, and when the referee got up, he raised Bill Dundee's hand in front of all of the people.
How much you pay him to do that?
The referee
Oh,
was knocked
I ain't
down.
like you.
The referee was knocked down. He raised whoever he thought would won the match. Now, is it right for you to leave? No.
No.
It's not right for him to leave.
I pinned his shoulders.
Let's ask him who won the match. Who do you think won the match, Paul Neighbors?
I don't really know who won the match. All I remember is seeing you go into the turnbuckles. After that, I was hit. I went down. I counted 1, 2, 3. I come over and raised somebody's hand.
It was mine. Doesn't that make me the winner usually?
I don't really know.
Don't you hold up the winner's hand?
Not when you got your shoulders
Wait,
pinned.
wait just a minute so we can get this meeting over with. Paul, you was in the ring doing the best you could. You got 2 wrestlers in there that hate one another, trying to kill one another. You're trying to stay out of their way and do a good job. You got 2 people outside wanting to interfere. Nobody, I mean nobody, could do a perfect job in a situation like that. Nobody is blaming Paul. Nobody. Now, Bill, your hand was raised.
Right. We all know that, Eddie. We
Eric,
figured
you
okay,
say you went. Wait a minute.
I pinned his shoulders.
All we got to do is sign a match, same stipulations, forget the other match you ever had. Because Eric,
Why sign the match, man? I beat him.
if he goes before the board and tells them exactly what he just told us, you would leave.
and you would leave because you lost, punk.
Oh, you'd love to take a
Yes, I
victory
would.
like
Let's
that.
leave it like
yeah,
that.
the mighty mouse of the
Just leave it like
Mid-South,
that.
man. You
I'll
had
get
your
protected,
shoulders
Ed.
pinned.
If y'all just agree, sign this contract. We'll
Why?
Do you want to leave?
I pinned him, man.
All right, the referee
I understand it's Tennessee. It ain't
referee raised
Texas.
his
But
hand.
how much can you rip somebody
The
off?
referee raised his hand.
He's a Tennessee referee,
Well-
and he admits he don't even know what was going on.
Everybody in Tennessee and Kentucky and Indiana is not partial to somebody else. If you go in there and get your hand raised 1, 2, 3 and win, then you're the.
I beat him. 1, 2, 3. He didn't raise his hand.
Did the
So if
referee
you
raise-
take it to the board and appeal it, you're looking at 3 more weeks then, right?
That's right.
That's what you said. And you said I might have to leave.
You're exactly right.
Well, let me ask you this.
Neither one of you want to
Hey,
leave.
let me ask you this. I'll fight you. Right now, we're walking 100 acres.
no.
Eddie,
Oh, I ain't
and we're
afraid
not
of you.
there.
I'm the mighty mouse of the Mid-South, man. And I done beat your shit, man.
Well, son,
Come on,
you're
man,
right.
sit down in your
Give me
seat.
something
Come
to
on.
write with that. I'll write.
You sit
Henry,
down.
Sit
Hey,
down
you can
in your
either
seat.
sign for
Hey, no.
another-
Hey, I'll tell you what, mighty mouse. Give me something to write with. Give me right. No, let me tell you something. I ain't waiting 3 weeks to put you out, man, because you're out of here as soon as we can meet, Gundy. Do you understand what I'm telling you, man?
That's exactly
You
what-
can't protect him from Tennessee. You can't protect him from Tennessee.
See how hard you get?
Sit down.
You ever heard the old saying, the truth hurts and it hurts? Because you lost and you know both of them helped.
Both of you. Come on, wait a minute.
Come on, get over here and sit
Just sit
down.
down, and you said that's exactly why we're having
It's
this
not
meeting.
done. Is this over?
So all this is
Sit
over.
down. There's no fighting in
If
office.
you're going to fight in here now, both of you can leave the USWA. Right now, you can have the match and we can settle.
Tennessee matchmaker. Tennessee.
Well, let's read we're signing
Yeah,
this
that's
match.
why you got a Jap and whatever you call little Miss
watch
nothing over
your
there
mouth.
called a lady. That's right. And you
You
beat
poor
me. not
loser. You poor loser.
Just wait. We got
signed. Is that
we got
legal?
both names on the contract, both of you.
I admire you for having all of that go on in your office.
Dave, I just felt like this was being fair to both parties involved and not having to go 2 or 3 weeks with the board making a decision, so this is final.
Okay, thank you, Eddie. That's right. If it had gone to the full USWA review committee, we were looking at 2 or 3 weeks, and so by getting it signed, that means that gets all that speeded up. So the match will occur. Stipulations will be in place. So we'll be back with more here in just a moment. Dave Brown and Michael St. John back here at ringside. We're going to take time right now to give you the full card coming up Monday night at the Pipkin building at the fairgrounds. We've already talked to Eddie Marlin, of course, with that videotape graphically explaining.
Eddie had his hands full for sure.
Boy, didn't he? Well, I thought he and Paul Neighbors both were going to have to referee right there just for a moment. Let's take a look at the opening card. Again, it's at 7:30. Parking is free at the Pipkin building at the fairgrounds. World Light Heavyweight title on the line. Chris Candido coming into the USWA to try to take that belt away from the champion Nightmare Danny Davis. Following that, a match in which the little people are going to be back. Karate Kid will be going against Little Tokyo. Then, oh boy, get ready for this one. Miss Texas will be going against Miss Brandywine.
Sweet Georgia Brown, of course, has the self-proclaimed Miss Texas, is a tough customer. And Brandywine, I understand, is a fine young lady wrestler, so this should be quite a match at the Pipkin building Monday night.
They'll be going at it. Then following that, boy, get ready for this one. Hurricane Walker, as I've said, we're going to have him. He's here today. We are going to have him in action a little bit later on. Maybe get a few words from him, too. Dr. Tom Prichard will be going against him. And I don't know, Prichard, I hope he's close to a monitor or a television set and gets a chance to take a look at Hurricane Walker. Prichard will have Ms. Texas in his corner over there. There's a factor right there. But Dr. Tom goes against Hurricane Walker Monday night. Then a return grudge match. And this one, not going to be stopping it just because somebody is bleeding. Dirty White Boy will be going against Eddie Gilbert. Hot stuff against the Dirty White Boy. These two former partners will be still going at it again like got started a couple of weeks ago, and they'll be facing each other in this return grudge match Monday.
That's a war in itself, Dave Brown, without a doubt. Dirty White Boy and Eddie Gilbert having their differences these days.
World Tag Team titles are going to be on the line. The brand new champions, Jeff Jarrett and Robert Fuller, defending those belts against, wouldn't you know it, another Texas team, the Texas Outlaws.
Mass team coming into the area. That's, what can you say? I mean, exactly just like you said it. Here we go with another Texas team, the Outlaws. But Jarrett and Fuller, what a team they've become, and they've already captured the belts.
That's right, and going to be trying to hang on to them. By the way, the Outlaws are around here today, too. I don't know if we have time, we'll have time to talk to them or not. In a way, I kind of hope we don't. But the Outlaws going against Jeff Jarrett and Robert Fuller. Then, main event of the night, the Southern Heavyweight title is on the line. Bill Dundee goes against Eric Embry with Tojo Yamamoto. But remember, there's a lot more to it than just that. The title has been held up. The loser of this match will not be able to wrestle in the USWA for 30 days, and there must be a winner of the match. Controversial ending last time around. Bill Dundee had his hand raised, but Eric Embry is the one who actually won the match. The dispute, we saw the results of the meeting in Eddie Marlin's office, and that is going to be the match which results Monday night at the Pipkin building. Headed this way right now is hot stuff Eddie Gilbert, who's, looking good today. But
thanks there, Dave.
You've got to return or the continuation of that war with Dirty White Boy.
Yeah, Dave, you know, past few weeks, too, if I could have everyone's attention out here and at home. You know, last few weeks, Dave, I've come out here a lot of times, as a matter of fact. I've kind of got a little irate. I've lost my temper a few weeks. I've screamed, I've yelled, I've made threats, pretty much that I've backed up. But at this time, I would like to take the time, if everyone up there, Director Howard and everyone will bear with me on this, I want to take a little time to explain something to everyone in Memphis, Tennessee, and around about Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert. You know, the past year, Dave, not only in my professional life in wrestling, but in my personal life, in the past year, I've kind of been to hell and back. And I've experienced a lot of things have happened to me. As everyone knows, that when I first came back here, the first person, the only thing that I had on my mind doing was getting rid of Jerry Lawler. Well, I want everyone to understand something real quick. I grew up here. This is when I was a kid. I'd go down to the Mid-South Coliseum every Monday night. I'd ride down there with my dad, sometimes my dad, Eddie Marlin, Jerry Jarrett. I just wanted to get close to the ring. I wanted to take pictures of the matches. I wanted to write wrestling stories. I wanted to be a wrestler so bad, get in the ring and be a wrestler. My dad instilled in me, and he taught me the ring. He taught me how to wrestle. But a secret that only a few people know, and I think you know, Dave, when I was growing up, especially when I got to be a teenager, a man, and I'm going to say this, and it's going to shock a lot of people, a man that I admired, a man that I wanted to be like, a man that I wanted to, whenever his day came to where he stepped aside, I wanted to take his place. That man is Jerry Lawler. Whenever I was growing up, I always said, someday I wanted to be the king. Whenever Jerry Lawler stepped aside, I wanted to take his place. I knew it wasn't going to be an easy task. I know now it's not going to be an easy task. But when I look around, we all know now that someday, not today, not tomorrow, not next month, and maybe not next year, but someday, Jerry Lawler will not be around here to wrestle. He's going to have other things to do. He's going to do his TV show. And I look around and I see two people that will have to take the burden on their shoulders, two people that will have to take the task of wrestling all the guys that come in here and want to take over the Memphis wrestling scene. And those two people, when I look around back there in the dressing room, are myself and Jeff Jarrett. Well, last Monday night at the Pipkin building, I took my first step in knowing what it's like to be a person like Jerry Lawler and Bill Dundee and legends like Jackie Fargo and Jerry Jarrett and Eddie Marlin and my dad, because Tony Anthony jumped me before the match. Before the bell ever rung, he jumped me and he hit me with a chair. Oh yeah, it's happened to me before, Dave, nothing new. But he beat me, and he beat me, and he beat me, and he beat me in the head. And Howard, if you can get this camera, come in close on my head right here, you can see that I had about 10 lacerations that was done Monday night to my head. And I want to say also to referee Paul Neighbors, I want all the people in Memphis that were there Monday night, I don't want any reflections on Paul Neighbors. He did what he thought was right. He stopped the match because he was worried about my health. I begged him time after time not to do it, but he did it. With Tony Anthony, I said last week, at one time I considered you a brother and a family member. Well, this coming Monday night at the Pipkin building, it's no stopping for blood. And I want to tell you right now, people, I know what my future is. I know the task I have. And I'm going to leave you with one saying, a saying that I learned from watching Jerry Lawler. Tony Anthony, you mess around with fire, brother, and you're going to get burned. We'll be back.
In the ring, that's Gary Scott, who is closest to us, and Jack Diamond here with a high five. Here they come, the champions, Jeff Jarrett and the Tennessee stud, Robert Fuller. They've got the World Tag Team titles in hand. Paper champion, says Jack Diamond. Watch what happens to the paper champion. Well, I tell you what, Mr. Diamond, if you can beat him here today, go right ahead.
Look at that robe Jeff Keirn and the robe Tennessee stud are wearing. I mean, they really look good. They look like champions, Dave.
Boy, they sure do. Boy, that is some kind of robe Jeff especially has on. Good-looking robe that Robert Fuller has, too. But they head now for the ring. This is a non-title match. Non-title match, one fall, 15-minute time limit. The world champion. Boy, congratulations to him. I tell you, this was a team. I mean, these two guys have put knots on each other's heads. Fuller even broke Jeff's arm once with a baseball bat. Jeff was looking around for a partner, said, I need somebody tough, and the toughest man I know, the one that's given me the most trouble, is Robert Fuller. They were able to put their differences aside, form a team, and look at them now, world champions.
You know, sometimes out of adversity comes the best teams. And Jeff Jarrett knew firsthand what Robert Fuller was made of. And boy, what a tag team. I can only echo what you have just said, because I think they're going to hold these belts for a long, long time in the USWA.
Here we go.
Jeff Jarrett's going to start up against Gary Scott as we get our first look at Gary Scott here at USWA Wrestling. And a nice arm drag takedown. Scott goes down. Jeff Jarrett. A lot of wrestling prowess in Jeff Jarrett, a young man that has come a long, long way. He's also learned from each of his experiences, and that only makes you a better person.
Absolutely. You know, Jeff has had some good guidance along the way. His dad, of course, Tojo Yamamoto, in better days when Tojo was a lot nicer to be around than he is right now. And now, and again, same situation. A changed Robert Fuller has helped Jeff.
Robert Fuller comes in and takes over. Robert may have changed a lot of his thinking, but as far as his wrestling ability, he is still as strong and as rugged as they come. And if you want to wrestle with Robert Fuller, you can for sure do it. Count of 2 right there. But if you want to fight in Pier 6, I'll tell you, Robert Fuller is not the man I'd want to meet in a dark alley.
And you know, he's probably got a blackjack or something hidden somewhere if he has to go to it, too.
Scott thrown back into his corner. Tag is made. We're going to see the big man, Jack Diamond, come in the ring for his team right now. Look at this.
Jack Diamond steps in with plenty of confidence. Let's see if he can wrestle Robert Fuller.
Robert Fuller, Jack Diamond, about the same size height-wise. But, of course, Diamond, a lot younger, a lot less experienced in the squared circle than is Robert Fuller. Of course, when you're looking at Robert Fuller and Jeff Jarrett, 2 second-generation wrestlers, and that means so, so much.
You know, and I don't think Jack Diamond has ever stepped into the ring against Robert Fuller. I'm sure he's seen him, and I know Diamond has wrestled against some tough folks, but again, these guys are world champions, and people don't just walk up and hand you the world titles and say, here, you take these for a while. You got to win them, and you have to beat tough opponents to do it.
I'll say this much, too. Jack Diamond not starting out on the good side of Robert Fuller, pulling his hair on that takedown, standing wrist lock again. Diamond reverses a nice reversal into the hammerlock. And Fuller reverses right back out of it, maintaining the hammerlock on Diamond. Diamond looking for the refuge of the rope. He's got it. That'll cause a break. And look at Fuller. A little payback there for that hair pulling earlier.
Yeah. You want to play that way, then Robert Fuller will do that. He will get even to you. He will make you pay for it, and that's what he did to Jack Diamond right there. Let's see if Diamond's confidence has been slowed any. He seems to be a little slower climbing back through those ropes than on his first appearance.
Needless to say, Robert Fuller like a caged lion in that ring, ready to move in. Nice go behind. Takes a half Nelson on Jack Diamond. Got him rolled up. Let's see if he tries to combine it into a pinning combination. He's got him turned over. 1-2. He almost had him, Dave.
That was some strength there shown by Robert Fuller, because Diamond is a big guy, and he was able to turn him as Diamond was lying on the mat. Robert couldn't hold him for the count of 3, but he was close to it.
Robert Fuller, showing his amateur background from years ago, has that hammer lock one more time on Jack Diamond. One thing about Robert Fuller that I have noticed since he's been back in the USWA, he's very religious about going to the gym every day. I mean, he works out and works hard. Tag is made. Here comes Jeff Jarrett. Jeff's going to take over on Jack Diamond. A little different style here, a lot of quickness. Here's Jack Diamond tossed into the ropes. Jeff catches him with that lariat. Tag is made. Gary Scott, not much of an opportunity to get in the ring because Jeff Jarrett takes over right at him. Tag is made to Robert Fuller. Jarrett, whoa, look at that drop kick. The patented Jeff Jarrett drop kick. Boy, it's hard to say.
Boy, what a great one he hit him with, too. Gary Scott is going to be feeling that one for a couple of days. That suplex as he snapped him over, and Robert Fuller comes off the ropes.
Puts the boot to the forehead, covers Scott. 1, 2, 3. He got him. And the USWA World Tag Team Champions, showing the teamwork that made them the champions, taking this victory over Gary Scott and Jack Diamond.
And Jack Diamond was coming in to interfere. Jeff Jarrett headed that way. He even stepped over Robert Fuller's back to get to Diamond to keep him from breaking it up. And Mr. Diamond is going to have to go back to the drawing board. Here they come right here. Jeff Jarrett and Robert Fuller headed this way. Congratulations on another great victory, Jeff.
Well, thank you, Dave. You know, a couple of weeks ago I came out here and I told the people about my original conversation with Robert Fuller. And that was, if we ever got beat as a team, I'd call it quits. Well, here, Kimbry, you're shooting everything you got at it. Yeah, you shot Tom Prichard, Steve Austin. We got rid of the Texas Hangman. And here, Kimbry, you really showed me your true colors you wouldn't give me a rematch at the title. That's the first time in wrestling history that I've ever heard of a man getting cheated out of a title, not getting a rematch. Well, Eric Embry, that's fine and dandy. You shoot whoever you got. Now you got the Texas Outlaws. Well, boys, you want to call yourself a tag team? You're looking at a tag team, and right now, we're the champions.
Let me tell you something, you know, I guess Texas Outlaws, that means these boys from the Badlands. You're in the Badlands right now, baby.
Tom Prichard here.
Yeah. We got a big mouth over here now.
Come on, this is their interview time.
You come here. You're real good at talking about people when they're not here. You remind me of Lawler and Gilbert. You're all full of hot air when nobody's here to defend themselves and talk about it. You ain't something anymore.
Come on. Oh, look out. That's the Texas Outlaws right there. Prichard calls them out. Get them, boys, he says, and then Prichard leaves. Oh, look out. Jeff's got a chair. Nails one of them. Oh. No, it isn't. Well, the world champions have pretty successfully defended themselves here, I would say.
I'm talking about the Badlands, and then here they come. Outlaws! I'll tell you something, boys. Eric Embry, you sent these punks in here. Same thing. Same Texas garbage. I'm going to thank you for it. I'm going to thank this man right here, because if it weren't for him, I wouldn't be here at all, and I wouldn't be one half of the world's tag team champions. Now, here's the bottom line, Jeff. I'm going to do Eric Embry a favor, and I'm going to let you help me. Embry, these two jerks you just brought out here, here's their favor. They're going back to Texas, son, just as sure as they came in here. And I'm going to tell you something, Embry. It's just a little time until you follow them, son. I'm going to guarantee you this, Mr. Masked Men from Texas, Outlaws, if you got problems in this profession and you're covering your face to save them, you're in big, big trouble, because your face ain't going to be covered when you meet the World Tag Team Champions. Much less are you going to walk out of there with anything but a royal tail kicking, baby.
The world champions. Boy, it's good to have them with those belts in hand. And a couple of guys who have just demonstrated they're not going to be pushed around by people coming out here doing illegal stuff and jumping them from behind. They dispatched Mr. Prichard and the Outlaws. There they are, being greeted by the fans as they head out of here. Hey, somebody else that I don't think is going to be pushed around. We'll see him a little bit later, but take a look at this videotape of Hurricane Walker. Frequently, we get telephone calls. People say, hey, how do I get Jeff Jarrett or Bill Dundee or someone, one of the wrestlers, to make an appearance? We're having this special event. We're having this fundraiser. How do we go about that? Well, here's how you do that. You call this number, 1-901-358-2924. And again, or if you're in the 901 area code, you don't need to dial 1. But again, the number is 901 358-2924 for championship marketing. That's how you get all the information, and you can find out about how to have the wrestlers make personal appearances for your group or organization.
A lot of USWA action in the surrounding area coming up, too, Dave.
Yes, indeed. Beginning next Saturday night over in Jonesboro, a big one.
That's right, Jonesboro, Arkansas, next Saturday night, the 25th at the Earl Bell Community Center over on Church Street. Box office, by the way, opens the day of the matches at 3 o'clock. Tickets are now on sale at the Front Page Cafe in the Caraway Plaza. Superstars from the USWA going to be there, including superstar Bill Dundee, Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert, the Texas Outlaws, Jeff Jarrett, and many, many more. That's Jonesboro, Arkansas, next Saturday night at the Earl Bell Community Center. On Friday, May 31st, action in Kennett, Missouri, 8 o'clock. The Gilberts will be there, the new kids, a special ladies match. It'll be held at the American Legion building in Kennett. Special student prices, that's on Friday night, May 31st. Thursday, June 6th, the USWA returns to Clarksdale, Mississippi at the Civic Auditorium. Action starts at 8 o'clock, a special schools out wrestling program. Reduced prices for students. Tickets will be on sale at the police department up until match day. That is June 6th, Clarksdale, Mississippi. The USWA on Friday night, June 7th, will be in Terrell, Arkansas. Another schools out special there in Terrell. Action starts at 8 o'clock at the high school. Reduced prices for students. You can get advance tickets there also. On Friday, June 14th, Ripley, Tennessee. A schools out special in Ripley. Tickets on sale at the police department. We'll have more on those matches upcoming in the weeks to come here on USWA Wrestling. That's June 14th. That is a Friday night in Ripley. And on Friday night, June 21st, Forest City, Arkansas, at the Civic Center. We'll have tickets on sale at Parker Furniture. Special schools out special there on Friday night, June 21st. Forest City, Arkansas, the USWA on tour throughout the Mid-South, and when the action comes your way, you want to get out and see it, just like you want to see it Monday night at the Pipkin building here in Memphis.
Well, I tell you what, you got some action coming up, a lot of great places here. Looking forward to all of that, and that action Monday night at the Pipkin building. Looking forward to action right here. We'll be back with more, so you stay with us. Going to be headed this way. A quick reminder about the King's hotline. It's 1-900-654-KING. That's 1-900-654-5464. You call that number right there, and a lot of people ask, how's Jerry? When's he coming back? All that sort of thing. Well, you get the late up-to-date information from the King himself on the hotline. Also, you can leave messages there. The Eric Embry insult contest is still going on. Leave an insult about Eric Embry, and if Jerry uses it on television, you'll win a Lawler t-shirt. There's the number one more time, 1-900-654-5464. And we are in the action right here very shortly. That's the Scorpion up there stalking around the ring. And here comes Hurricane Walker. We have not seen him in action live as yet, but we anticipate that at the moment. We did see that videotape a little bit earlier, and by golly, he looked mighty good in the ring. Looks like he also works out at the gym quite a bit, Michael.
He is a very nice-looking young man. I know he comes into the area with a great reputation, having wrestled up in the Northwest and also wrestled throughout Puerto Rico. And we'll get our first-hand look at the likes of Hurricane Walker in the ring against the Scorpion. A tough test for the young man coming into the USWA.
Well, he's going against the Scorpion, who is really a big one. He has a lot of weight. He'll weigh in right at 300 pounds.
Look at the legs of the Hurricane Walker on Hurricane. I mean, they are just built to the max. I mean, this young man obviously working out and right away grabbing the arm of the Scorpion. Obviously, some fine wrestling ability in Hurricane Walker, going to work on that left arm of the Scorpion. Going to send him into the ropes. Goes for the elbow. Scorpion ducked under it. Didn't duck under this. Side suplex, and down he goes.
He's not fazed at all by that weight of the Scorpion. He's picking him up, throwing him around the ring, and the Scorpion's got to be wondering, hey, what's going on here?
Scorpion goes up about 255 pounds, and you got Hurricane Walker going in at about 263, but that weight obviously distributed well over the body of Hurricane Walker. He's a tall fella. I guess he tops out at around, what, 6'4", Dave?
He's very tall. I don't know exactly the height, but yeah, he's tall, and oh my goodness.
Look at this.
Has some athletic ability, huh?
Puts the elbow up under the chin, snaps and snap bear on the Scorpion coming out as Hurricane Walker takes right back over with that reverse chin lock. I'm impressed by what I see so far.
I am too, and you know, you got to remember too that Walker has not wrestled in this area and has not seen the Scorpion in any past matches, so he really hasn't had a chance really to go to school and to know what moves to expect from the Scorpion. But by golly, he is really handling himself well right here against the big guy.
Hurricane Walker going to loop that arm now, a step over hammerlock. Oh, look at this.
Wow.
Rolls the Scorpion over, holds him down, and gets the pin.
My goodness.
What a move.
And the hand raised. Hurricane Walker. Boy, he's looking good in that match and gets the victory here.
I think the hurricane warning is out in the USWA, Dave Brown.
I think you're right. Flags better be flying. Here he is right here. Hurricane, congratulations on a victory here today. Good to have you in the USWA.
Well, thank you very much. It's a pleasure being here in the USWA. I'm looking forward to all the competition I heard about.
Well, you're right. This is a tough area. There are lots of folks around here who are going to be looking for you, but it looks like you can handle yourself real well. Watch yourself. This is not a good welcoming committee here.
Hey, boy, what you doing over here? Huh? What you doing over here? Huh? You come from the wrong dressing room, you understand? You come from the wrong dressing room. Hey, I have a two great wrestlers. Eric Ramey and Dr. Prichard. You're not the same kind of category like they are.
Hey, boy, who you think you are? I'm Miss Texas. And in Texas, we do things bigger and better in Texas. I got two of the toughest guys from Texas. And by looking at you, boy, you're not even good enough to shine their shoes.
But for one thing, where I come from, women don't talk like you do to men.
What you gonna do? What's wrong, boy? What's wrong?
I don't fight women, especially little women.
Oh, my goodness. Tojo with that kendo stick. Totally uncalled for. What is he doing? Sneaks around behind him and nails him with a kendo stick. And now, Ms. Texas, sweet Georgia Brown. Oh, here come the Outlaws again. Yeah, here they come. Tojo Yamamoto nailing him from behind. Hurricane Walker now in there against both Outlaws in the ring. He knocks them both down.
Hurricane Walker taking over on these Outlaws, and it looks like Walker can handle them both. Into the ropes. Look at this. Back body drop. This is one impressive athlete.
Hey, one of the Outlaws has said, hey, let me out of here. And you notice Tojo is hanging back now. He's not into the action. Even he, I think, has got to be impressed with Hurricane Walker.
Here comes Prichard.
Uh-oh, Tom Prichard coming out here. What are you doing here?
I want to know just who you think you are coming out here, man. Who have you beat? You just got that beat some guy who ain't never won a match in his life, pal. You think you're a good guy? I ain't never seen you. You want to beat somebody? Get out of here. Get out of here.
This is unscheduled, Dave.
Dr. Tom challenging him and Hurricane accepting.
And Prichard goes into the ring, and we've got an unscheduled match underway. Dr. Tom Prichard against Hurricane Walker. Look at that back body drop. Walker moving in. The Hurricane slamming Prichard down. And the doctor is reeling and on the floor. Hurricane Walker goes to town on all of them, including Dr. Tom Prichard. Now the Outlaws headed back into the ring, but I don't think they want much to do with him. Now here comes Jeff Jarrett and Robert Fuller. That's going to even the odds a bit. And the Texas connection, obviously.
Notice has been served. Hurricane Walker has arrived at the USWA. Back with more in a moment.
USWA in your hometown. It's America's #1 fundraiser, USWA Wrestling. The stars, the action, the excitement, USWA Wrestling. For more information on how you can raise money for your organization, write the USWA, Post Office Box 1783, Hendersonville, Tennessee, 37077, or call 615-824-8523. USWA Wrestling, America's #1 fundraiser.
All right, coming into action right here. Dr. Tom Prichard with a rude awakening just a few moments ago.
And Hurricane Walker, what an impressive and auspicious debut here today.
Oh, boy, here he comes. Boy, Prichard is not happy. That's Tony Anthony, the Dirty White Boy, in here with him. Boy, this is a rugged-looking tag team, huh?
I'll tell you, these are two tough customers. Tony Anthony is, he was mean and vicious before. Now he's got his hair blonde, and I think he is even meaner if that's possible.
I agree with you, absolutely. Prichard up there running his mouth. Hey, here comes Hot Stuff, Eddie Gilbert and Brian Christopher, his partner. Brian, one of the new kids, of course. He steps up on the ring. Well, both of those guys can wrestle, too. This should be a good match we got right here.
Four of the top talents in the USWA in the squared circle today for our main event, and this will be an expiration of time match.
You know, we're also looking at the situation in which Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert has been looking for the Dirty White Boy Tony Anthony in single matches, and here they are as part of tag teams today. Let's see if those two tie it up during this fall.
Referee Paul Neighbors trying to get one man from each team in the ring. Let's see who is going to start and get this match underway. Already Eddie Gilbert and Dirty White Boy Tony Anthony exchanging some barbs across the ring.
They're looking at each other. You know, I've got to wonder, they may not even realize they have partners here in a few seconds. This may be one of those that the war really gets going between those two. Let's see what happens. Tony Anthony starts against Brian Christopher.
And Dave, I think what you just alluded to may indeed be the true underlying theme of this match. Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert and Dirty White Boy Tony Anthony. Anthony's going to start off against Brian Christopher, the Dirty White Boy. There's a nice big high hip toss on Brian. Brian, the man with the least experience in the ring, but certainly a young man that has come a long way in his wrestling career as one of the new kids. There's a full body slam. Now Tom Prichard saying that Dirty White Boy's the only man he's seen from Tennessee that can wrestle.
Yeah, that's about the only guy I've ever seen from the state of Tennessee that can wrestle. I've seen Lawler, I've seen Gilbert, I've seen all of them, and the Dirty White Boy's about the only guy out there that can do anything that's worth anything when he teams with me.
Obviously, Dr. Tom Prichard with a lot of confidence in the Dirty White Boy. Look at this, flying press by Brian. Count of one was all he got. There's a drop kick to the shoulder. Dirty White Boy is down, tag is made, and here we go, Dave.
I think he may have run across a couple of other guys who can wrestle from the state of Tennessee. Eddie Gilbert, of course, from Lexington, Tennessee. Brian Christopher is a Tennessean, too.
Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert has got the matchup that he wants in this tag team affair. He's in there with the Dirty White Boy, but not for long. White Boy going to tag out.
Yeah, look who stepped out. It wasn't Eddie Gilbert. It was Tony Anthony that headed for the corner and tagged Tom Prichard.
Just did Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert a favor. I didn't cripple him right here on TV today.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, step out of the ring and then come over here and try to talk a good game, huh?
Here's Eddie Gilbert and Tom Prichard going toe-to-toe, and Eddie Gilbert gets the best of that encounter. Prichard backing away. Now Dirty White Boy stepping off the apron. Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert, his feathers are ruffled.
Boy, for a guy who allegedly can't wrestle, I would say Eddie Gilbert gave pretty good account of himself there during the last 30 seconds.
Eddie Gilbert strutting around the ring, going to lock it up with Prichard. Prichard brings a knee to the midsection, and now chopping at Gilbert. Gilbert returns the favor, and Prichard goes down. Boy, I'll tell you, Dave Brown, Eddie Gilbert, he is looking as good in the ring today as I've ever seen him operate.
He's on a mission, too. He's facing Tom Prichard, and he has no love for Tom Prichard, I guarantee you, but he's seeing Tony Anthony. He thought he was going to get to face him, but Anthony tagged Prichard, and that's where we are right now.
Eddie Gilbert with the hammerlock on Prichard, going to tag out. Brian is coming into the ring. Brian Christopher coming off that middle strand of ropes, takes right over on Tom Prichard. Rings that arm a couple of times, has that wrist lock set. Prichard going to back Christopher into the ropes, sends him across the way, missed him with that wild right. Christopher sunset flip, 1, 2, off. I thought he had it, but Prichard kicked out alertly. Takes right over on that arm, but now Prichard going into the eyes. Brian Christopher blinded momentarily, brought over into the corner. Tag is made, and here comes the dirty white boy. They're double teaming new kid Brian.
That's right, on the exchange. Look out. Tony Anthony sends Brian into the ropes. Clotheslines him coming off.
Brian caught again by the dirty white boy. Neck breaker. Snaps him down. Now, dirty white boy and Eddie Gilbert exchanging some more remarks. Dirty white boy with a headbutt. Brian down again. White boy taking advantage of the youth and inexperience of Brian Christopher at this point.
This is where Tony Anthony is very dangerous. If he thinks he has his opponent wounded or slowed down for a second, he becomes a vicious mad dog almost and goes after it.
Tag is made. Here comes Dr. Tom Prichard. Brian wanted to make a tag and get over to Eddie Gilbert, but unable to do so. Whoa! Boy, is Tom Prichard throwing these chops. I think Prichard's still a little upset over that encounter with Hurricane Walker that we witnessed a little earlier.
He better be upset. He better watch himself because he's going to be facing Hurricane Walker in a single match in just a very few days.
Here's a suplex on Brian. He goes down. Dirty white boy manhandling him. Here's hot stuff Eddie Gilbert headed into the ring. Now a double team. Prichard and white boy both on Brian Christopher. Double suplex. And now Prichard dropping down with the elbow, going for the cover, but there's Eddie Gilbert in for the save.
Hot stuff keeps it alive. Tom Prichard, a dirty white boy, thought they had it wrapped up against Brian Christopher. Brian struggling to get to the corner, but intercepted by Tony Anthony.
The resiliency of Brian Christopher, very surprising. You see this young man has got a lot of intestinal fortitude, but he is taking quite a pounding at the hands of the dirty white boy. And Dr. Tom Prichard right now in the ring.
Dirty white boy broke the cover right there because he saw Eddie Gilbert headed his way. He didn't want Gilbert to get him.
Here's the tag made legally this time. Prichard back in the ring. They're continuing to work Brian over. Brian takes that right hand, bounces back real quickly though. Look at this, blocking in the corner. But Prichard right away puts that knee to the midsection. Prichard sent to the ropes. Shoulder block, and both men go down. Prichard banging heads with Brian Christopher coming off the ropes. Brian is down. Prichard is down. Brian needs to make that tag. Let's see if he can find hot stuff Eddie Gilbert and gets a tag. He's getting over that direction. He got him. Tag is made. Here comes dirty white boy. Now it's Gilbert and white boy. Now wait a minute. White boy took the tag. Oh, look at this. Right over to the table. Hot stuff Eddie Gilbert and the dirty white boy on the floor. That's where the fight is. Slugging it out on the floor. Eddie Gilbert right now getting the best of the dirty white boy. Here they come, Dave. Look out. Dirty white boy again on the floor. Hot stuff Eddie Gilbert throwing the chairs on Tony Anthony. Whoa.
They're still battling. Michael, this one is over technically. The referee has counted them both out for fighting on the floor, and they're still fighting on the floor. Tony Anthony, Eddie Gilbert going at it down here.
Dave, we're going to have to get this thing broken up some way or another.
Not going to be easy. Here's Paul Neighbors trying. He's telling them it's over. The bell has sounded. Oh, look out. Eddie's got a mic cord wrapped around the dirty white boy's throat.
My mic cord.
What is this, Tom? Prichard back over here. Let's get, I tell you. All right, looks like Paul has got them separate. Let's take a break very quickly. We'll be back.
Whoa.
Yes.
I was almost dismembered there. I lost microphone and cables and everything.
No, I saw that. Well, when Eddie wrapped that cord around Tony Anthony's throat, and then all of a sudden I saw that stuff snap. But you're okay, and everything's, the equipment's okay. Thank goodness.
Really?
And those two are going at each other. Boy, this one is just going to go on and on. I tell you. Let's take a look at the card again. That's coming up Monday night at the Pipkin Building. 7:30 is wrestling time. It's across from the Coliseum. Of course, I think most of you know where the Pipkin Building is, and parking is free. 7:30 it starts with a World Light Heavyweight title match. Nightmare Danny Davis will be bringing that belt in to defend it against newcomer Chris Candino. That'll be the opener. Following that, it's the Little People as the Karate Kid will be going against Little Tokyo. Then Miss Texas, and as you correctly pointed out, self-declared Miss Texas, or at least Eric Embry claims she's Miss Texas. Sweet Georgia Brown is who that is, will be going against Miss Brandy Wine in a single match. Should be a good one to see, though. Then Dr. Tom Prichard will be stepping in, and she will be back in his corner. And look at that. He's going to be going against Hurricane Walker.
He got a little taste of Hurricane today. The Hurricane flags will be up at the Pipkin building Monday night. I don't think I've ever been as impressed as I have been with Hurricane Walker here today.
I absolutely agree with you. I got to like Hurricane Walker's chances of winning this one against Dr. Tom Prichard. Then a return grudge match. And in this one, there's not going to be any stopping it because of bleeding. That's what happened last week as Dirty White Boy was going against Eddie Gilbert. And as Eddie said, he doesn't hold it against the referee. The referee did what he thought he had to do to protect Eddie's health. He stopped the match, but that will not be happening this time. That's one of the stipulations. The referee cannot stop it just because one of them's bleeding. Dirty White Boy against Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert. World Tag Titles are going to be on the line then. Jeff Jarrett and Robert Fuller, they prove what kind of champions they were here today. They'll be going against the Texas Outlaws, and they've already seen them.
And Robert Fuller has made a vow. He says he's going to take these Outlaws and send them right back to Texas where they came from.
Tell you, they may have a short stay in this neck of the woods around here. That world title, the world titles, will be on the line come Monday night. Eric Embry will have Tojo Yamamoto in his corner then as he goes against the superstar Bill Dundee. And in this one, the Southern Heavyweight title was going to be on the line. The title's been held up. The loser is not going to be able to wrestle in the USWA for 30 days, and there must be a winner of the match. Why? Well, because last time around, the controversial ending in which Embry actually won the match, but it was Bill Dundee's hand who was raised, so there was confusion. Each wrestler thought he had won the match. As a result, there was a meeting at Eddie Marlin's office. We're on a little bit early today, so in case you missed that or joined us late, take a look at just a little bit of what happened in that meeting.
I'll tell you what, Mighty Mouse. Give me something right with you. No, let me tell you something. I ain't waiting 3 weeks to put you out, man, because you're out of here as soon as we can meet, Gundy. You understand what I'm telling you, man? You can't protect him from Tennessee. You can't protect him from Tennessee.
See how hard you get? You ever had the old saying, the truth hurts and it hurts? Because you lost, and you know both of them have...
Both of you, come on, wait a minute. Get over here and sit down. And you said, that's exactly why we're having this meeting.
Is this over?
So all this is over.
There's no fighting in office.
If you're going to fight in here now, both of you can leave the USWA. Right now, you can have the match and we can settle.
Tennessee matchmaker. Tennessee.
Well, let's read what's signing.
Yeah, that's why you got a Jap and whatever you call little Miss nothing over there called a lady. That's right. And you beat me.
You poor loser.
Just wait. We got
signed.
We got both names on the contract.
Well, as you can see, it was tough to keep them apart, just to keep them talking there to get it worked out, but he did. What he did, Eddie was able to avoid going to the full USWA review board. As a result, the match has been signed, and those stipulations are in place. Whoever loses this one is not going to be able to wrestle in the USWA.
And I admire what Eddie Marlin did, because he took matters into his own hands. Had it gone to the review board, it could have drug out 3 or 4 weeks. But right now, we've got the return match Monday night at the Pipkin building. Like you said, there must be a winner. That title is held up. Superstar Bill Dundee against Eric Embry, and I'll tell you, it's going to be a wild one.
It'll be something to see. Be there Monday night, 7:30 it begins. Let's take a break and we'll return with more action. Well, we're going to try to get another fall underway after the way that first one ended. I don't know if that's wise or not. It ended up as a draw. A count out by referee Paul Neighbors due to fighting on the floor as Tony Anthony and Eddie Gilbert were down here around the table. Here comes Tom Prichard and Tony Anthony, the Dirty White Boy. Hey, look out behind!
Here comes Eddie Gilbert. Tony Anthony wanted Eddie Gilbert out here. Eddie Gilbert's arrived and he's got a broom.
Tell you what,
Gilbert going to work on
he ran them both out of the ring right here. Yeah, if anybody knows about foreign objects, it would be Tony Anthony, too, let me tell you. Paul Neighbors trying to get the broom away from Eddie Gilbert.
Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert came into the ring for the second ball, loaded for bear. And now, wait a minute.
Oh, look out.
Tony Anthony just took the boom away from the referee, and now Tony Anthony working over Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert with that broom handle. The referee's got it, tosses it out of the ring finally. He's calling for the bell.
Yeah, the bell is sounded, so we'll just let that stand. This one officially has been underway for some time. Eddie Gilbert's head rammed into the turnbuckle. Tony Anthony, Eddie Gilbert going at each other. These guys have to face each other in a single match coming up. Look at Anthony. He's trying to get that forehead opened up again where he cut Eddie in that last match.
Well, I'll tell you this much, Dave Brown. They have taken up right where they left off with the brawl on the floor. Thank goodness for now it's in the ring. But I don't know if any building in the country can hold them, much less the Pipkin building. But I guarantee you, no matter what happens, Monday night there'll be a match between the Dirty White Boy and Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert, and there'll be no stopping the match for any reason.
Oh, you're absolutely right. That is going to be a battle. It's already started. It's continuing now. Actually, it started last week. Look at this. Anthony got him back. He's choking him. Anthony with a thumb wrapped around his throat. Yeah, he's got him cut open again. Anthony wouldn't rest till he had his head cut open.
Well, the Dirty White Boy knew, and Eddie Gilbert alluded to it earlier in an interview, that he had taken, what did he say, 10 lacerations with a metal chair last week. And now the Dirty White Boy working over that newly healing forehead of Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert, and Eddie Gilbert suffering the effects of it right now. The referee finally getting down to 2 men in the ring. But as he admonishes Tony Anthony, Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert takes a pounding
from Prichard outside, yeah.
Prichard holding on again. And Dirty White Boy moving right in on Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert.
Gilbert fired across the ring. He ducks under the clothesline. Hey!
Caught the Dirty White Boy with that boot.
He brought the boot up to the chest, and Tony Anthony was knocked down to the mat. Eddie is not in real good shape, though. He's really taking a beating here and double teaming from these guys. Look at him nail it. And Anthony just collapsed, face first.
Hey, neither one of these men are in very good shape right now, Dave. They have just put their heart and soul into beating each other up in this one.
You know what we talk about as the match began, they have forgotten they have partners. At this point, they're just going after each other. What Eddie needs to do right now is get to that corner, get the tag on Brian Christopher, get the fresh man in there. But Anthony and Gilbert intent on going after each other. It's one against one match right now for them.
Eddie Gilbert sent into the rope. Look at that. He got him with the DDT.
Time is winding down here. Our time limit very close. When the time expires, we'll have to ring this bell as the action continues at the moment. Neither of them seems to be in position to take a pin at the moment.
Both men out on their feet in the middle of the squared circle today. Look at this. Gilbert and Anthony exchanging the right hands. We're out of
time. Time has expired. We're going to have to stop this one, but I guarantee you the war will continue. We'll be back here in a moment. Lawler's Army's got a couple of games coming up, softball games. Tomorrow they'll be playing against Panola Mills in Batesville, Mississippi. I think some of those folks are here today, as a matter of fact. Are you folks from Batesville? Yeah, there they are. They're all ready for the King's Army tomorrow. 1:30 is when it'll be at Trussell Park in Batesville, Mississippi. Next Sunday, the Army will be playing up in Jonesboro, Arkansas. So a lot of action coming up. Boy, speaking of action, we had it here today. Started off with Ben Jordan with a very fine win. Ben looking mighty good in his match, and then following that, we had the videotape of that very controversial meeting between Embry Dundee, Eddie Marlin, and the whole bunch of them, in which they did get a match signed.
That's right, and that match will be Monday night at the Pipkin building. Eric Embry, he will have Tojo in his corner against superstar Bill Dundee. Southern title, which is held up, is on the line. There must be a winner.
And the loser is not going to be able to wrestle in the USWA for 30 days, which is a very important stipulation for both of those wrestlers.
Then we saw the USWA World Tag Team Champions in action. Jeff Jarrett and Robert Fuller. What a tag team. They'll be in a match Monday night as they'll take on the Texas Outlaws, and Robert Fuller has vowed he's going to send this mass team back to where they came from in a hurry.
Maybe a short trip into this part of the country for the Texas Outlaws, as a matter of fact. Then Hurricane Walker. What a day. I can't remember a more impressive debut in years and years than Hurricane Walker.
You're absolutely right. This is a big man. He's a man that can handle himself. He's well developed, and he can wrestle in the ring as well as fight. He had the welcoming committee of Tojo Yamamoto and quote-unquote Miss Texas to deal with, but things turned out Hurricane Walker's way, and I'm sure when he goes up against Dr. Tom Prichard Monday night, he's gonna take care of some business.
I think you're absolutely right. Look out, Dr. Tom Prichard. And then, of course, Eddie Gilbert and Dirty White Boy Tony Anthony going at each other in 2 falls and on the floor and all of that. That will continue Monday night, too. We hope you'll join us next week. Until then, for Michael St. John, I'm Dave Brown. So long, everybody.
The announcers on this program are selected and paid by parties other than this station, namely the promoters of USWA Championship Wrestling.